So, hello everyone again um, to our new episode. And we really like the idea that we were talking last week's episode about digital hoarding because I really want to make sure that I can use my storage space in a more mindful way and more organized way. But overall, as I was trying to organize it, I got so overwhelmed with all the stuff that I feel like I need to keep, but I'm not really sure if it's a problem that need. And the other problem that I usually have is like I have so many different documents scattered around different digital cloud, physical places to like different phones, computers, hard drives, USB drives, and I'm just trying to put them into one big place that is over cloud. But I don't know, like it's just so much, and I feel like I might have a problem, and I need help. I think I just want to hear your stories because hope that I'm not the only one, and I'm normal.
Um, Before I start responding, let me quickly reassure you. You are not normal and your differences are bad. Now that we got that covered, I would like to. This is, by the way, this is an SMBC reference. I might put it in the show notes, the exact comic strip I am referring to here. Let me ask you, why do you want them in a single place? So why do you want to like get them together and put them in a like file museum or something so that they are
So
together?
yeah, like the main idea is if when I need to, I can access them. I think, and I guess like basically when I die, the whole actual like if I die or am I
That was a jump. Priorities.
and if I'm dead, I don't want people to see things in my digital world that isn't supposed to be there. I don't know, like I just or like I just want to see old me, like my childhood self maybe. I don't know, it's just kind of like a weird because I continue to accumulate more, and I feel like if I don't put to an end to it, it will get worse and worse each year as I get older. And I lost a lot of things on the way too. So I feel like if I have them in one place where I can look at it, it will be easier if I have to move my files again, or I can just directly put them into one physical place too and not worry if I've forgotten anything behind. I don't know.
But I'm really like wondering and curious about why you are thinking about leaving. I mean, why you are concerned that people will see your stuff when you die.
Yeah, that was more like it was more.
I mean, why you want to show them your stuff? Like you can just.
I guess like the idea is like I've been interested in minimalism and decluttering, and I've been doing that in my own regular life. And the main reason came because I moved a lot since I was a kid, and I've been moving a lot since during my own adulthood and my own individual life. And the actual physical artifacts has always been really challenging to move around. And I noticed the less I have, it was easier for me to move, and I enjoyed the stuff that I had more. But when I tried to apply that into my digital space, it was total disaster. and and I guess like I not super recently, but my grandmother also passed away some couple of years ago, and that whole process of like taking care of her stuff, decluttering her house, and just having that aspect of experience made me realize and question what will happen to the things that I own when I'm dead, and how I can capture some of the values that I believe in there and record it properly. So I don't know. Maybe it's super selfish. Maybe it's really egoistic that I think the things that I have has some sort of value to the other people as much as they have it to me. But yeah, like I guess
Definitely, people will value your stuff. Definitely.
I mean, probably not the meme that I screenshotted back in 2010 with the flip phone or something.
I think that's another comic strip. Maybe that's like XKCD this time. It's about how society breaks down and funny memes become the currency.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I had a similar experience with you. I moved a few months ago. And yes. And also because Izel, I mean, it's not entirely Izel's fault, but Izel is a big offender in this regard. We have a lot, in our previous house, we had a lot of stuff cluttered around. Like we had this whole living room full of items just standing there. And we had to like package them and organize them and try to move them. Like it was very difficult. Izel had her old school projects. And because her school projects are 3D objects, they need to be handled with care. I have a lot of books, stuff like that. And you know what was very easy to move when I was moving? Like books, very heavy,
Yeah.
Izel's projects, spacious and delicate sometimes. Yeah, my digital files. My digital files were very easy to move. I just had to pick up my computer and then put it to the place in the new house. That was all the effort it took. And, so far, I have never tripped over one of my homeworks from middle school while walking in the house. Like, I never...
Yeah, no, but I found one of your homeworks from the middle school.
Yes, and you found it because it's a paper, not a digital file. Which is kind of my point. Which will kind of be my point. I understand the concept of minimalism when it applies to real objects that you actually can bash your toe into. Or that makes some tables unusable in your house. But I don't understand why minimalism would apply to your computer files. Because they are just files. You can just put all your files in a single document called clutter and not look at them. And you can do like the whole rest of your computer will be empty when you do this.
Like the junk drawer you would have in your home.
I had so many of them.
All my drawers are junk drawers.
Same. And now I have a folder called desktop on my desktop, which is my junk drawer.
I have a similar concept in my computer. I call it the "these will be deleted" folder. And what I do is, whenever I think there's too much stuff on my desktop, I just move them to the "this will be deleted" file. And next time the same thing happens.
Not delete them?
No, I don't delete them at that point because my thought is maybe these will become useful later. But after a few months, when I'm doing the same thing again, I start by deleting the content of the "these will be deleted" folder. The assumption is if by the time another decluttering should happen, those files are untouched, they are probably trash.
I forgot to say something during the prep time. Well, in order to prepare for this episode, I decluttered my computer.
Nice.
Actually, this is a lie. I had to declutter my computer because I couldn't open the editing file of the last episode. So I had to delete some stuff. And like, if the clutter is small, tiny image files, screenshots, or funny memes I downloaded from the internet, I never delete them. You don't have to delete them. They are like small. They're tiny.
Yeah, that's my point too. If you had infinite storage in your computer, you would never have a reason to delete any of your files. And it's like storage digital storage is very accessible. I often think if I move to a different country, what would happen to the stuff in my house?
Mhm.
Would I need to like hire a storage location and put them there or something? But with computers, this is so easy. It is so easy that I don't think
Yes.
minimalism is something you should think about when you think about digital files.
Also, I want to add that already most of my stuff is probably in another country because I have a bigger drive space than bigger cloud drive space than my digital spaces. Not digital, physical
You use Google, right?
spaces. Yes.
I think Google has a server in Turkey that like the Turkish files are stored in Turkey, I think, because of the law that was passed.
Oh, okay. That would also make sense.
God damn it. Even our files are trapped here.
Yes, even our files can't get away to Europe.
Yeah, that explains why it's so cheap.
For me, oh
Damn.
yeah,
It is cheap.
it is. It is. I guess like for me, why I would like to have a little bit like I just want to clarify what I mean by minimalism. It's not just like having one item or nothing at all, like in physical too. Like I guess when I try to have minimalism, it's just like being able to access the things that I like and being able to see them. The photos or the files or the funny things and not being lost in the other things and actually appreciate the things that I love. And I guess for me, especially with photos, because with the digital photo, you can take so many photos and there's so many like same shot over and over and over again till you find the perfect one or the one you like the most. But I don't delete them. I directly put them into the drive, or I keep them on my phone. I don't declutter them. So that's kind of the main reason I would like to have it. And I 100% agree with you, Janice. Like digital things are so much easier, especially with books. I have so many readings that I don't even know the topic of that I was given to me during my educations. And I just keep them there because just in case if I ever need it. Like I don't like probably they are not even valid. Like they're written like I mean they're valid, but like now they're getting old and old. But back in the day, oh, this is something new. That's why I decided to keep it. Now the time passes, the paper itself is not really that relevant. But yeah, I guess like the main reason why I want to be a little bit more organized and a little bit more decluttered in the digital space, so that if I need something or if I want to see something and find something, I won't get lost in it.
I mean, look, I am not in any way calling you digital illiterate, but hear me out. There is this function called search. You can look inside the folder. Yes, Izal.
I want to add something to that. Like, I would consider myself a digital hoarder, but at one point in my life, I decided that my digital files will be organized, and I still keep the trash, but they are organized trash. So
I was just going to say, being hoarder doesn't mean you put everything in a giant file. You can be a very organized hoarder too.
yes, like that helps. Like I started with a 128 gigabytes computer, and now I have a few physical drives which are like 2 terabytes or something, and I have 2 terabytes on Google Drive, and I have 1 terabyte on Microsoft's one, and I have some on iCloud, but it's organized.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I would consider like any of you digital hoarders until any of you get to the point where like you have to own your own server and how to
Binali.
like make the
Binali.
copy. Yes.
I was looking at buying a home server for myself, but I couldn't afford it.
Okay, you need to be stopped. Like, this is an intervention.
I'll stop you. I'll stop you when Binali is done.
Sorry.
then you need to be stopped. Like I think if we're talking about like when it becomes a problem part of things, like when is it time to, oh, this is not okay, then I think that is the like having a server, having multiple servers, having actual consequences of it in like in real space, because there are people like that. They're like, I have to archive like everything on this website or everything on this topic, and I have to do it like religiously on like have a huge server room full of it if necessary. I think that's the point of like digital hoarding that we can compare to like real life hoarding of like those hoarder houses.
First of all, I want to make one thing abundantly clear. It is true that Isel often thinks and talks about buying a home. Actually, she doesn't say server. She says NAS, like
Network attached storage.
storage space that you can access from every computer in an environment. That's the type of thing she talks about. She doesn't talk about buying a server that works like a server.
No.
And the reason why she talks about that is because it is very difficult to transfer files between my Windows and her Mac.
I don't think that's the type of hoarding I'm talking about is like people who like hire a space to put a server in so they can like grab every torrent file uploaded to a website and archive it because they have to have it.
I mean, I agree that that's well. Let's just say it's not a very. It's not something any of us do. That's certain.
Yeah, I was on the path to become that person before I discovered minimalism like Elif. I didn't become a minimalist like her, but I became more mindful of the things that I own because I hadn't. I wanted to say this on the podcast. I had an IFTTT command automation, whatever it is, that would download all of the funny top posts on Reddit.
That's not a very ridiculous thing to do. Although you are describing what Binel just said. Like that's an example of. But like even then you only take the top post, not all the Reddit. That's something, right? Good for you. You little meatball, you. But
Reddit were already paying some money to save those files in a distant server, but you doing the same thing helps.
And then it was free. You could have, back at those days, you could have just used the API to get all the stuff whenever you wanted. But
throwback.
Yes.
Yes. We have a lot of episodes now, so we can easily do those things. But like I think even if you actually need to get a storage device, I don't think it's a very big deal because I still think like I understand that if I would become a hoarder of say copper items, wherever I find copper, I store it. I buy all the copper pans, all the copper pots, all the other stuff, pipes, cables. Wherever I see them, I just get them and I have this huge house and I put them in that house.
Yes.
There is a point where me doing this copper hoarding become a problem for other people. Because I am sitting on all this copper, like a copper dragon. But that never happens with digital files. I don't care if my neighbor has a room full of Reddit funny pictures.
Okay, the place I would like push back on that is it could, in terms of like, if people get too much into it, if this becomes like a trend of, if this becomes a trend people get into, and if it gets out of hand, if it gets out of scale, then like think of it how it is happening right now with like graphics cards, where people are just buying them so they can have like this room of graphics cards mining cryptocurrency
Mhm.
or whatsoever. If that becomes a thing with like storage units, like if that becomes a thing with SSDs, then price of SSDs goes up because of scarcity. So that like on that hand, it could have real world consequences.
Also, it's not that green.
Well, SSDs are not good for that either. So
Graphic cards aren't becoming more expensive. Graphic cards are becoming stronger.
They get cheaper.
The same graphic card is cheaper. Just more expensive graphic cards are available.
he's not talking about that people are not able to buy the top graphic cards because crypto bros are buying them all.
Yeah, they get completely stuck out immediately as they're produced.
Really, that's I didn't know about this.
I was making air quotes while I said crypto bros. Sorry.
So unfortunately, yeah, the graphic cards prices, especially on like middle to high end, are gone off the rails in the past few years, especially after like COVID, because they're immediately bought out by people who are into cryptocurrency, so they can make crypto farms.
Okay, that's a ridiculous situation. I'll like.
Oh, it is nonsense.
Like, what happened to good old money laundering, like laundromats, for instance? Like, back at my day, when somebody decided to launder their money, they were able to do it without creating. Well, I mean, they were creating a lot of problems, but they weren't at least blocking technological growth. They were just doing their own thing.
Can I also share an anecdote? Because this is completely off the topic, but I was just thinking about how these people are just like hoarding like these graphics cards to like make cryptocurrency, and like this is their like scam. This is their get rich quick scheme, and our equivalent of that is, I remember, I think like 2 years ago, someone in Turkey hoarded like all the potatoes, like the crops, so they could sell them at a high price.
I mean, look, I am still not okay. I am still not okay with people buying all the graphic cards and then selling them at a higher price. That's still a problem, but that's not what you are describing. What you are describing is there's this graphic cards dragon somewhere.
Yes,
and they
yes,
are
yes,
sitting
yes.
on all the graphic cards.
Yes.
But anyway, that's not the thing we are talking about.
Fun fact. When the cryptocurrencies started crashing, the people who bought lots of graphic cards started to selling them at half price on eBay and such.
Revenge of the Invisible Hand. But still, I think like I am willing to get behind the notion that if people's digital hoarding starts making storage devices more expensive, then that's sort of a problem.
Yeah.
But I still like, I think that's a very large end of the situation. That's none of us is talking about that.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
that's similar to how in high school, when you drink 2 beers in a row, you are thinking, am I an alcoholic? No, you are not an alcoholic because you drank 2 beers in a row.
No, I completely agree with that. And I completely agree that, like, in terms of digital files, there is no harm done to other people by you, like, you downloading them and saving them and archiving them.
By the way, let me give a quick legal disclaimer. In Turkey, it is illegal to sell beer to children who are not children who are in high school, but children who are less than 18 years old, who are usually in high school.
Children that are less than 18 years old?
Minors.
Unlike children who are...
Data minors.
It is illegal to sell beer or any alcoholic beverage to high school
or tobacco
to children, to legal children.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Unlike children who are older than 18 years old.
However, it is perfectly legal for those people to drink alcoholic beverages.
Yeah,
like there is, And that's why I can say without any repercussion when you drink 2 beers in high school, because drinking beer is legal, not like it's not like in some countries actually consuming alcohol or drugs too is illegal, and that's not what I'm talking about. I am not condoning any criminal activities. It is just that it's not criminal in Turkey. Please continue.
Was anyone continuing?
You are continuing.
Was I?
Okay, you were not continuing, so like I said, in Elif's situation, I don't think there is anything wrong with what you are doing, because even if there is a point where doing that becomes a problem, it isn't about recording your personal stuff. It is about going out the streets, like it is the equivalent of going out the streets, picking up everything you find and putting them in your house. It isn't storing all your personal files. It is storing all files.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think that's hoarding. I think that's a whole other thing. Like, if somebody was walking around the streets and picking up everything they can see so that they can put it in their house, we wouldn't call that person a hoarder. We would call that person something else.
No, we call that person a hoarder. There's a whole show around it.
No, but I think that, like,
But there are
no, those
degrees
people
to-
store their personal stuff, like the stuff they used.
No. There are hoarders who just collect literally anything. Like they're still called hoarders.
Maybe there should be some separation between those two things. Like the kind of person who cannot throw stuff away, and the kind of person who just goes around picking things. Though that's a two distinct behavior pattern, I think.
I just can't believe your hot take of maybe situation needs more nuance.
I am a very controversial figure on internet. Whenever I encounter a discussion, I am always like, yeah, but what if there are more than 2 possible ways to approach this question?
And people are like, no, you're silly. You're stupid.
Yeah, everybody is always throwing me out of boardroom meetings through glasses. But still, I think, Elif, there is great merit in using a single device to store all your files instead of your files being scattered everywhere. Because I used to have this cell phone. Actually, I mean, I'm gonna be better by the end of the story, but this should this is not necessarily the case. I used to have this cell phone that I used to take pictures with, and some of these pictures belong to my ex-girlfriend. Like, I mean, she was in those pictures. So after I broke up and I started seeing my current girlfriend, I thought I should maybe delete those old pictures. But as a lazy person, I never got around to it. But then my phone crashed and I can't open it anymore. It's a brick. And so those pictures are gone. I am very happy because I don't have to go and delete them. Like, there were some good pictures there too that I really want to keep in my life, but I am alive. And so my point is, when you have files scattered around, sometimes devices break. And that creates a type of like a cluster of files that you are no longer able to reach because the device broke down. So you should, by putting them in the same place, you can avoid this situation.
I want to pick something from what you said and go on with that, if that's okay.
Is it the bit about my old girlfriend?
No, it's not. You said those photos are gone and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I am very much alive, in fact. Quite alive.
Well, I'm a person that is really scared of losing things. Like, I can list all of the things I have lost in the past 10 years because they still hurt me inside. And when I convinced myself that I don't have to feel that way about digital files, I was better. I'm okay that my old game saves are deleted. I can play it from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's just crazy talk. Nobody's gonna play 200 hours of play in a role playing game. Like nobody's gonna play Skyrim from start.
Yeah, because it's a
Yeah.
bad game.
Yes, yes, because it's a bad game.
And also the games that I care about, its saves are now on Steam Cloud. But there's a game that I'm so sad that I lost its saves. But that's another story.
I was just thinking, it's such a relief to play Paradox games because there's no such thing as going to your old save. They're not gonna
Yeah,
work.
you never like even if you like while you are playing a game, you just play a different game for one day and come back. You still don't want to play the old game. And I mean, City Skylines is technically a Paradox game, even though it's not made by Paradox. But it's similar with Paradox, City Skylines and Civilizations. I never go back to an old game. I think that's the moral of this episode. Role playing games are horrible because they encourage digital hoarding.
Yeah, I think like after hearing what you guys are been telling, I feel a little bit better. But
That wasn't my intention. Let me. I'm sorry that I didn't intend this to happen.
Well, I was trying to convince myself.
I'm just sitting here.
Enes hasn't even said things. He is the like that's all on you, Elif. Feeling better was inside you all along.
This is too conclusive. Someone throw in a wrench.
Yes, Enes threw in a wrench.
I mean, aren't we cluttering internet more? Not enough.
Are we? I want to believe that there is somebody out there recording every one of our episodes to their drives.
Oh.
Well, actually, the way we are keeping the files of our old episodes are a bit extreme for a podcast that is recorded every 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
We're gonna have a lot of files.
It is completely normal that every time I click on my Audacity's folder, it lags a bit. Like I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, by the way, I have all of your original files saved with the episodes too, so you don't have to keep it on you.
Obviously, because what will happen if there's a problem? You need those files. What are you gonna do? What's the alternative?
I mean, I keep the latest one that's not being published, but I delete the other ones that's been published. That's how I kind of do it. I keep the one that hasn't been published yet or like hasn't been out there for a week, but I delete the old other ones. Yeah, that's been my solution to it.
What about you, Enes? What do you do in terms of hoarding?
In terms of hoarding, I have two approach. Maybe like I'm also a physical hoarder by myself, but I may seem a tidy and ordered person from outside, but I still have things to hide. Like as a person, like I mean, not yes, everyone, not that
Has a porn file.
not in that mean, but like I still have a side that I hide myself. That like I have two kind of hoarding habits. One is ordered and classified with information, and other is complete out of space. And that's generally my desktop. So that's why I really like max function of ordering stuff in the kinds of the file that like I can see my all of my screenshots in one pop-up kind of no list anyway. Anyway, most of the classified organized items my files are my works that I do, like I even have saved my first illustration Illustrator file that I did in middle school. I still have it. Currently have it on my computer. I just found it. But other than that, uh, I saved all of my stuff. Like they're not in order, but at least like I can find them in a little cluster of the kind of things that I can find. For example, if I did a project in school, the inside of the folder is completely clustered with information about that project. But other than that, I can easily find that folder. That's how I kind of uh, find it uh, peace in myself. That way, I still feel like I'm ordered, but still it's clustered. It's a cluster, and I can like because classifying information of 10 years is a really hard job. Like I want all of my like I think the reason of that hoarding habits comes from like being organized in a way. You want to be organized, you want to keep your archive in order, like Elif says, but you can't because anyone can do. Most of the people just delete those data and they don't even
Yeah.
care or they don't even care. But as a person who is tidy and you organized, you want to keep them in an order. So,
Mhm.
but you don't have enough willpower or dedication to do so. So you put them in a cluster file. They all end up in a cluster file. But the way I solve this problem is classifying them in bits. That's why I'm helping, like I'm using my mind. I can find those folders in a way, and that's helpful for me. But I still have clustered files on my Google Drive because whenever I need to do stuff, like I just throw it there. I just throw it there, and it at sometimes I put those files in a folder called to be classified,
Nice.
and and whenever I need, like also uh, when the main page or the desktop clustered again, I create another folder to be classified too. But when those
Mm.
folder clusters, I put them in a folder that that goes on. Like you can find some files, like even my classified categorized folders. For example, in a project again, you can find alt a folder called alt2, alt3, and like even in old folders, you can find old folders. Ah, yeah.
No, I get that. I really get that.
But in a way, like whenever someone asks me to find some thing that we did 5 years ago, I can easily find.
Then it
That's
works. Like that's the purpose of
yeah.
it. Like if you can find it, then yeah, then it works. I think in some way or another.
But still, I have a problem with photos. I
Yeah.
currently, yeah, photos are like they are something different. Like the photos I take with my
Yeah,
phone,
photos are a nightmare. You can't search them properly.
You can
that's
search them.
yeah.
In Apple, there's and Google Photos, there's a lot of like facial recognition being used to sort.
Those things are 2 years old. They are very new. They aren't the standard approach to finding pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
use
is
them.
true.
I use this the last 5 years or something.
That's why I switched to iPhoto back then.
Also, like if you are like me and
Hmm?
the way you use pictures isn't putting yourself in the middle of them, but just using a camera to record something particular, then find photos that has me in them isn't very useful to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I think the problem when it takes it out of context, so it's not fully helpful in that regard for me either. I like to have the photos in the context of the day that I shot them, so I usually try to. And the other thing that I notice is the more photos you accumulate, you start to forget the day you shoot them, and you even start to forget the people who were in them, their names and their, like, who were they. Like, I'm now talking about maybe elementary school, or especially I saw that with my mom's, like, general actual physical photo boxes that she accumulated over time. And when I tell them, do you remember who this is next to me? And sometimes she can't even tell, like, I don't know, because, So I guess that's kind of links to when I'm dead part, which I said, like, especially for photos, in the long run, like, I would like to make sure somehow that people know who those people were. But is it important? I generally don't know. Like, is it necessary for people to know who came into my life and went by? Um, I don't know. But at least, like, I would like people to know about you guys, right? Like, for example, the photos that I showed you guys, they're right now just image 23 underscore 5 whatever number. Like, it's not even titled.
Image 23 underscore 542 is a great picture. I love it. It's some good stuff.
Exactly. So I wish I could go into the level of, like, actually putting some name to it, right? Actually putting context to the image and archive it in that way. But I just don't know, is it even feasible or possible? Yeah.
I think it is possible to maybe use files with like, if you go for a particular holiday, you can say maybe holiday 23 to Cappadocia or something like that.
Exactly.
That's a way to, or like pictures I took in the school, something like that. But even then, there's this problem. Actually, it's a problem in database structuring. Sometimes you want to think, what are the photos I took last April? Sometimes you think, what are the photos I have with that person? And sometimes you think, what are the photos I took in, like, Eskişehir? And those folders intersect. Like, they are distinct categories of pictures.
Yes.
A picture can be a large number of things at the same time.
That's why tags are better than folders.
Tags are very useful in classifying pictures, classifying photos.
But can you do that in, like, a classical Microsoft folder that you have on your computer?
If you dream, you can achieve anything. and if you don't dream, you can say tag1 underscore tag2 underscore as a file name.
I'm pretty sure
that's a bit labor intensive.
I think you can tag them in Windows.
Let me check. Let me quickly check. I have opened the picture, properties, there's details, and in details there's tags. Under title, subject, rating, tags. You can do it. It's doable. So now you know the reason you can't find any pictures isn't because it's not doable. It is because you are lazy.
Yes. Man, I'm sure there's some sort of, like, an auto tagger that uses AI to see the image and cat or something.
Yeah, it's called Google Photos or iCloud Photos.
No, even like not it shouldn't be like iCloud Photos, but now current Photos app on iPhone does classify, like, when you pull a swipe up, you can find, for example, now I see a cat, and it defines or understand the object of the photo, and you can search with that item without even tagging. Or, like, you can say paper documents in search and it finds most of the documents. Or now it can find text. So you can find even it's a photo of a text, you can find it via searching the text.
But can you also do that if you don't subscribe to iCloud Photos?
I don't know, but I don't follow. I don't subscribe iCloud photos. There is not such a thing now. I have iCloud, and I turned on
No.
photos in the iCloud.
Yeah, I was talking about that. I also have iCloud, but I don't use iCloud to synchronize my photos.
I guess in my ideal world of documents, what I would like to do is just like put everything into one folder and being able to just write Control F or like search and being able to find the thing that I need to find somehow.
Elif, have I news for you? That's what tags do.
Yeah, I mean, no. Actually,
But
that
without me actually doing the tags.
I think it's all about user interface. That actually
Yeah.
computer does this by themselves, but they don't show you that. Like they've save the files like without the like in a big folder, but they create addresses of that folder.
No.
I mean, in a
No, no,
way,
no, no.
isn't it?
That's not what happens. That's what happens with Linux, but that's not what happens with Windows. In Windows, folders are distinct.
Windows is yeah. Windows is bad at this. Okay, I see.
And you can't reach from. I mean, you actually need to crawl from one folder to the other. They aren't all in a big place with addresses.
I want PDF, like, I just want like PDF version, like me going, okay, I remembered this sentence in this text somewhere, and then just like doing Control F and writing some gibberish, but finding the words, and then just quickly scanning over them. And yeah, like just I remember we've been there and I took photo of it and just writing some gibberish, not a full sentences, and being able to find it. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, again, that's how I use Google Photos.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Also, I use Spotlight for that purpose, but
Hmm.
yeah, okay, it's not a big deal. It's not working that well. No, I hope it will. But that means Google, I mean, or Apple will like intensively know about my folders.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
need to put it in an AI in a way, or is it how it works? I don't know. But like I like about this, like currently the Photos app understand the object of the image. So I mean subject, is it? No. Yeah. Anyway, so then they're putting my photos in a processing uh, application in a way, so they can understand what is inside the photo. So they are
I believe Apple does this on device,
in device, yeah.
but I'm not sure.
You know, I want to do a bit of a meta commentary on what just happened. The thing I don't like about brick and mortar stores is actually going to a store and trying to buy things in the store is you can't search for things. You need to either ask a person or you need to walk around looking at each shelf. I don't like doing either of those things. So I like online shopping better because you can search files. What I don't like about looking old pictures is similar. Old photographs is similar. You can't search properly. You just know that there is a place where there's a large pile of pictures. And maybe if they are very well organized, you can think like, oh yes, this is the year these pictures should have been taken. But then that's not guaranteed. It can be a different year and you can look at entire picture book for nothing. Similar with photos. It is like very difficult to actually find the photo you are looking for. It is even very difficult to find the actual file you are looking for if you don't remember the file's name. But as the time progresses, there are tools that enable you to handle larger quantities of data with ease. So maybe in the past, 50 years ago, a person can remember the content of, like a person can find the picture they are looking for between 100 pictures. Now you can do the same thing for maybe tens of thousands. You have the same ape brain. So what changed must be the way these things are organized.
No.
So what I'm thinking is, as the technology progresses and UI gets better, we will be able to hoard even larger quantities of data without being troubled by it.
Looking for that day.
I have a question about this. Like, it comes to the first thing that Elif says, that about dying. Like, lots of people are like, they're hoarding photos basically if they don't do anything special. Like, we currently have the largest, like, what like, there's a lifespan of a children right now that they're born with the current technology. There are lots of photos and videos are taken. Like,
Yes.
in a day, like, there are 5 videos of them, 100 photos of them taken. But will they value of their childhood or babyhoods, the photos that are taken when they're baby? Like, how much they will value? And what about their children? Will they value those photos that much? So what would happen those data that we are storing in our servers and currently spending so much energy to run those, and cool them, cool the service as well. So what will happen those data?
I hear your concern, but I don't agree with the I agree with the symptoms, but I don't agree with the diagnosis. I don't think people take a large quantity of pictures and videos of their children so that they would come back and watch them. Obviously, people know that if, like, between ages 1 and 2, like that age, if there are 100 hours of content, nobody is watching that. Even parents must be knowing this.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they still produce so much data about their children isn't because they think I will come back to this 10 years later. They think, A, I will share this with my friends so that they cannot watch them. Or I will show it to the children when they grow up so they don't watch it. I mean, I agree that nobody watches it, but I don't agree the intention. I think it doesn't.
Like, I can remember the old photos of ours, like, taken physically, like, and we can still, like, print it out.
You know what that's similar to? Your grandmother having 10 siblings. Because they produced all those children believing that maybe 1/3 will survive. But all of them survived, and now they have too many siblings. Similarly, people are taking millions of pictures because they think we were able to take 3 pictures back at my day. And now they have all these large quantity of pictures that nobody's gonna look. I think their children will not do that.
And the cousins that you don't know.
People will get used to children surviving, and they are gonna be less inclined to record so much about people as time progresses and people get used to it.
That's why I value some of the apps like Snapchat or like temporary files. Like, you are just posting the image just for 24 hours. I like this idea.
Yeah, I think Snapchat is very realistic on that regard. Like, because people do not look at the same picture that is thrown in a group chat more than 6 seconds anyway. But in Snapchat, that picture disappears.
That's why I like Be Real too.
I would have really liked Be Real too if it worked.
I think Instagram stories shouldn't be saved in an archive. I mean, still it's an issue in a way.
Oh, I strongly disagree. I have this reel recorded in my Instagram about, that scene in the Barbie movie where they do this dancing with the Dua Lipa song?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of the Dua Lipa song, they put some halay music to the background. It's really great. Ryan Gosling entering the halay. It's the best internet ever. I would really hate it if that disappeared. But all the other reels are trash.
No, I kind of
Not
relate to that
reels.
because
I told about stories, but anyway.
yeah,
No,
like
similar, I think.
I think there was also the fear of like kind of losing the content that like a lot of the things I used to be able to find in Google, I can't find it anymore. So sometimes I wish that I was able to, actually store them in some way. But yeah.
Saving Google searches.
Because Google is garbage now.
Maybe it's another
it's-
episode to talk about what changed in Google and which research is the best tool. Like,
Yeah. I don't think Google is trash at all. I think the second page of Google is awesome. First page is trash.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. It's
sometimes I can't even go further from the second page. Like, there is only 2 pages available in my search. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Wow.
Okay, so join us next time about we don't know if that's gonna be the topic. Maybe we'll talk about something else.
this might be a complete lie. So if you made it to this point, congratulations.
Yeah, we have no idea why you are still listening, but thank you. The last episode was listened more than the episode before. So we are on a positive trend right now. We are very thrilled about that.
Thank you for listening to us. And yeah. Enes, do you want to do the call?
Yeah, maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, you do it and then we can go away and play computer games.
Yes. Like, if you like this episode, please follow us on social media as well, that we are cluttering currently. You can find us on Instagram as at inconclusion_podcast. You can find it even on Threads, inconclusion_podcast. You can find us on Twitter as _inconclusion underscore, even on LinkedIn with just Inconclusion, Reddit on r/inconclusion podcast, and now currently we are cluttering Blue Sky as Inconclusion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you did it. That happened last week.
Yes, as Inconclusion, just Inconclusion, but their handle is kind of different, so I can't remember. Just write Inconclusion if you have Blue Sky. I will be there for you.